switching up.
Wait, is that how? Wait,
Hi, Chad.
Hi,
that's how
chat.
that's how it's typed out. Oh, hi chat.
Hi, chat.
I didn't get the memo.
I told you the
Oh,
memo, bro.
I don't have
my
stuff plugged in.
webcam's not plugged in.
Your webcam's
Whoopsie.
not even plugged in?
Nope.
Mm.
OBS or VTube Studio capture my camera.
Alright, so I'm very overstimulated today, so I'm gonna blare music louder.
Okay.
Is that what you? Does that help with overstimulation?
No.
Okay.
Now we get to see if Minecraft will
Hello,
show.
Everest. I passed it.
Jiggy 𝚃𝚆𝙷𝚃𝙷.
Wait,
Hold on.
did you call me something, Jesse?
Oh, what?
I call you
What?
something?
Oh.
When did you get
Oh,
here?
sorry, I joined and I feel like you called someone a terrorist, but I thought you called me a terrorist.
Uh,
You said
I
hello,
didn't even
terrorist,
know
when I
you
joined.
I have
Hello?
Oh.
I think he said.
Dude, I thought you called me a
Everest.
terrorist. Oh, frick. I heard terrorist.
Jiggy 𝚃𝚷𝙷𝚃.
Just like
Dirty,
why
dirty,
are you
dirty,
a
dirty, dirty.
terrorist. I just got here, dude.
Well, we are streaming, just so you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say we probably should go to stream, but
One of the cats is fucking up the chair underneath me and it's scaring me.
Hey, my webcam's back on.
It's your daughter.
You have a
That's
webcam?
terrifying.
dirty, dirt.
Dirty.
For my VTuber?
Oh.
This guy's a VTuber.
What was the inspo for the
imagine?
stream title? Autism.
Check every single one of our streams.
Every single one of ours. Ow.
Who did that?
I see. It all
big.
makes sense now. Forgive us. So sorry to tell you won't happen again. I love you. I don't
Yeah,
have a
I'm
plan
hiding.
today.
Don't find me.
Break apparently wants to play hide and seek. I have no plan today of what to
You
do.
wanted to make a board.
Yeah.
I don't have that brain power to make a message board right now.
Dog, it's a
I'm
piece of
gathering
wood.
flowers. It's more than a piece of wood. It's not just a boulder. It's a rock.
Gabe.
So we're just gonna ignore
Oh,
that
guys.
Brick said come find me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I found Brick.
I found him
No,
first.
I was in a super cool hiding spot, but Cookie
Was
left.
it
So
in your hole?
no, it was under Cookie's table.
What the fuck?
See, look, I'll show you.
Wild winds around you.
Oh.
Oh wait, I was gonna take down the barn.
Why are we taking down the barn?
I hate it.
But my guys are in
Taking down
there.
a barn, but you won't.
Oh.
Where am I?
You're not
Where
very
am I?
hidden. You're not very
Am I
hidden.
not? I want to see this from. No, I'm so hidden. The Jiggy
Get out, let me show you.
𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃𝙷. I had a stream open. Oh, yeah,
This
you
is
can
our
do
new
that too.
bacon.
This is better than bacon.
It's like it was good for a second. Get back in there. Stay.
Hello, crazy.
Fuck you, crazy.
Oh. And
What?
may I say on stream, happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. Happy birthday.
It's your birthday?
Hey.
God.
Hey. Zippy keeps going in and out of me.
What?
Watch.
Hello? Pardon? No, can we? We're not moving on. I'm not.
I'm not moving on. Can you go to the cave?
I don't want to.
You're gonna see something horrifying.
That makes me less inclined.
He's not saying anything either. He just keeps going in and out, in and out, and in and out.
Watch.
Jiggy 𝚃𝚃𝙸𝚃𝙷𝚃𝙗.
He's dirty during my Jiggy 𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃. Help me. I can see inside your head. Did you push me to the wall?
You
What do you want from me? I don't have money. There's more diamonds than me. Jiggy 𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃, dirty.
Jiggy 𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃.
You got a serum problem, buddy? Look at his little face. Dude, he's just a baby.
Whenever I like think I did something smart, I'm gonna remember this night of how we kept saying dirty, dirty, dirt. I'm gonna remind myself that I'm not smart.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Oh, I didn't bring my water bottle in here.
Can I help you? Can you not go in and out of me, please?
That's what he was doing to me. He kept going in and out and in and out.
Watch.
Yeah. I'm not capping. For real, on God. No cap.
Away.
No cap.
I don't know if I want to talk to you.
He don't have to. He's not saying anything.
No, you!
Me?
Dirty, dirty,
I'm
dirt.
not the one that's going in and out and in and out.
No, the fucking things you were just saying.
Dirty, dirty.
No.
Oh, Jiggy 𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃.
Oh, dirty, dirty, dirt.
Oh, I got flow.
Oh, I don't remember.
God, we're intelligent.
And here we have the intelligent species of human. Jiggy 𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃, dirty, dirty,
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Promiscuous girl, wherever you are, I'm all alone, and it's
Hi,
you
Lish.
that I want. Hi, Lish.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
I don't know if you'll want to hang out with this one. It's late and we're acting stupid.
Promiscuous girl.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
What
Oh,
I
he's got
want
anthems on.
ain't
I
got
might
me.
be able to still do the geode over here.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
I just need to find a geode. Does anyone have a silk touch?
I
Yes.
used to. I broke it.
I do not. I have a silk touch
wait,
back.
wait.
Yeah, Zippy has so many silk touches you can have.
No, no, no. I have one. I freaking disenchanted all the other ones. But I can help.
I just feel
Dirty,
bad
dirty.
breaking all the glass.
Promiscuous
What are you doing up there, bud?
I needed leather.
Hey, you killed my cows?
I did, yes.
How
least
do you not
breed
breed
them.
them, bro?
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna breed them. That's all you, bud.
Mhm.
I'm not into
I
that.
don't even own weed.
You know who does?
There's a huge ass farm now.
I don't even own wheat. You need wheat? Do you know who you live next to?
No.
Look around.
I
Dirty,
see
dirty, dirt.
Dirty,
potato.
dirty, dirt. Don't be mad. Don't be mean.
Are they fucking?
Ooh.
Well, that's what wheat does to people.
Oh. They might be.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty,
Yeah.
dirty, dirt.
𝚃𝚃𝙷𝚃𝙷.
I love how stupid I am.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
It's
Dirty,
not
dirty,
only
dirt.
you, Brick.
I mean, yeah, but
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
it's mean if I go other people stupid. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
It's hard to imagine I was top of one of my classes.
You were?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Yo, they're escaping. Yo, what the frick?
Rick, that's my name.
Why'd they trade places? What?
You want help with your cave, Jesse?
No.
Alright, let's do that.
But I don't want help.
I'm assuming you
I don't know what
want
to
these
work
animals
on.
together.
What?
You want to help me? I have no
Oh,
idea what I'm doing yet.
I'm only gonna be able to break the top layer for now.
here. I can put up a fence.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Didn't think so.
I just want to testify of Instabreak. I don't. Fuck.
I got a haste backpack
I do
from
too.
the lovely ghost. Oh. Okay, I'll go fuck myself, I guess.
I don't got shit.
I have efficiency 5, so I was wondering if I
Dirty,
could
dirty,
use them
dirt.
all.
Oh, I don't even have efficiency 5.
Y'all got enchantments?
I mean,
I'm still raw dogging it.
you can't use diamonds to enchant. Well, hold on. You need diamonds to. Well, I mean not. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
The fuck are you yapping about?
Jiggy jar jar do.
Dirty, dirty, dirt. Yo, can we get a counter?
It would be too high.
I'm not keeping track of that.
I think I would
Mods,
mainly have
start a
to press
counter.
it.
Mods.
Any mods here, start a fucking counter.
Mm.
Oh, but Ghosty's my mod. That's not fair.
No, I'm not.
Me too.
Well, you're my mod.
Oh, I didn't say I was on your channel. I'm only on cookies.
Oh.
I'll be a mod on
I
mine
see.
too.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Good
work.
choice.
Did Jiggy jar jar do?
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
What? Do you think we're ever gonna find this not funny?
Yeah.
Probably.
In a few days, probably.
I don't know.
Motherfucker, get your ass out of here.
Dirty, dirt.
What do you want? Cobblestone? Cobblestone? You want more cobblestone? More cobblestone? Do you even need more? How much cobblestone?
Damn,
do you need,
how much
motherfucker?
do you have in your inventory, dude? What the frick?
I'm gonna start
on
putting
me?
my cobblestone in Jesse's
That
chest.
much.
That's a lot.
If you want more, there's some over there. We don't have the ping mod working, but it's over there.
Chat, you think it'd be funny if I filled up Jesse's entire cave back?
I think I would go to your house IRL and kick you in the nuts at least 5 times. Not consecutively. I'd let you heal first. I'd wait. I'd stare you in the eyes while you're on the ground in pain, holding your nutsack, and I will stare at you with dead eyes, and I will wait for you to feel better, get up, kick you in the nuts again, and watch you fall on the ground, stone-faced.
You
And
promise?
then I'll go get it.
You promise? I think Rick's into that. I don't know for sure, but
What?
I have a feeling.
The Jiggy jar jar do?
No! I didn't mean to fall.
Goes.
I never meant to fall in Bed Wars either.
Bed Wars.
I feel like that's the reason I
Did
just
someone
shouldn't play
Did
Bed
someone
Wars.
say Bed Wars? Sorry, what?
I feel like I'll just like be a liability to the team.
Oh my god, you should have seen me.
That's
Just
fun.
I am not
we
a
had
fighter.
one bridge, and Jesse fell off of it every time. Whose house is this?
I am not a fighter.
Huh?
I am a brother.
I found an auto sheep
Oh,
farm and
you
an
know.
auto chicken farm.
Yeah, that's my brother's house.
It's not a house at all.
No.
My guys, they're roaming
Oh, yeah.
free. You want help with this?
Yeah, I'd love help, Rick.
Okay.
What are you doing, Rick?
Helping.
Oh.
Mining.
Mining away. I don't know what to mine. I'll mine it anyway.
Man, my arms are fucking long.
Congrats.
I'm so tall.
What helped you make this discovery?
I'm destroying a roof that's like 20 feet above me.
Could you imagine if we had that IRL like reach?
People think I do.
I feel like I do. That's just because I have long arms.
One time someone was like, hey, can you grab that for me? I looked up, the thing was like 20 feet fucking up. I'm like, no, I can't grab that for you.
All right, that's it.
That's
I ran around and collected all the blocks for you like a squirrel.
All right, come
Did
deposit
you also shove
the.
them in your mouth? Like
I'm supposed to tell her that.
Spits it
I'm
out.
okay.
Here.
I'm
Brick,
not-
do you want to help me?
You're supposed to tell her. Chicky chicky jar jar, dude.
Dirty, dirty, dirt. You're checking every single piece of storage in your house. I think you misplaced something.
Brick, I ran out of storage to dump my inventory.
You don't have any storage other than barrels.
Brick, do you want to come with me?
Sure, we're going.
We're gonna hold on. Energetic lo-fi.
I like this layer.
I need a lot of amethyst.
I think I have some.
I need a
Maybe check
lot.
my chest too. For shits and giggles.
What if I want
For you and some shit.
to?
You just check all your
What if I want
chest.
to pee and what if I want to be
What?
pee and be straight faced, huh? What if I don't want to shit and giggle?
So, Brick, do you want to come help me?
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay. Let me bring some resources. Do you need
She
food?
just
Brick?
chose to completely ignore you.
I saw, don't worry.
Do you need food, Brick?
No, actually. Wait,
You
can I
want
show you
some
something real quick
sweet
before we
treats?
departure? I actually did something
There's
for
a wandering trader
once.
here.
You did something.
You did
Yes.
something?
Follow me into the hole in your house.
Oh. Oh.
Look, I'm still
Wait.
renovating. No.
I feel
okay,
like
okay.
Brick would be one of those NPCs that appear just when you don't expect it and be like, alright,
Look, I made a
follow
farm.
me.
Brick,
I actually made something.
Brick,
He named a mysterious stranger.
Brick,
and
you
then
live
just follow him
under
forever.
the one person who's surrounded by wheat, and you made a wheat farm down here?
Like now,
Not even
Yeah, but now-
potatoes?
you want potatoes? I can make it potatoes.
Yeah, I do want potatoes, actually. I loved baked
Okay.
potatoes.
Okay.
With some sour cream and fucking onion.
Onion?
Why?
How do you
Types.
grow
It's just a
potatoes?
potato.
You put potatoes down.
Do you have potatoes?
Brick, do I have potatoes?
That's what I asked.
Yeah.
I have
it's
no
only wheat.
fucking clue.
I show you something. I
Oh,
finally
oh,
built something.
we have
Not
three.
really
We have
proud. All you're
three.
doing is
I'm
yelling
throwing
at
them
me,
down the
Ruth.
hall.
Ruth,
I'm throwing them down the
thank
hole.
you.
I'm throwing them down the hole.
Oh, thank you. Are you proud of my farm?
I'm proud of your farm, Brick.
Thank you, Jesse.
I'm proud.
No, you're not.
It's just disappointed.
What in the slavery is happening down here?
No, they actually aren't doing anything. I don't know why they go through chests. There's nothing in any of these chests. I'm just waiting for them to oxidize so I can pick them up and place them around places like Easter eggs. Okay.
Is there still one on the cross?
I don't know. I think I needed that for something else. And yes, needed is the
All
right
right.
word.
You gotta start your little farm now.
What?
You gotta start your farm now.
Start my farm? Oh.
Yeah.
It'll grow
Can't continue
eventually.
it.
You'll
It's a grower, not a shower.
you'll be the potato person, and I'll be the wheat person.
To be the what? Oh, the wheat.
She'll be the weed girl.
I don't know how I feel about being the potato.
Rick is now known as the potato.
Dirty, dirty,
Think
dirty.
about it. What do bricks and potatoes have in common?
They grow.
Don't say
They
fat
taste
cunt.
Two
Ooh.
fat
Oh, sorry, I realized you were waiting on me.
Alright, you ready?
Yes.
Have
trying
you
again.
seen any nearby?
You remember the time I got lost?
Yes.
I think I remember seeing one.
What are
Okay.
you looking for?
And that ocean cave
I already know
area.
what you said.
That's over
Well,
near our
there's
old
also-
houses, right?
Actually, in yours, the mine shaft, there's like a really obvious one just right there.
Oh wait, yeah. So go
I
down
remember
my
that
basement.
very recently. Yes.
Okay.
No, one of us should stay guard at the entrance because I couldn't find it last time.
We need to put like a beacon or something.
Char-char-do.
Dirty, dirty,
Dirty,
dirt.
I like how Keenan has no fucking clue what we're talking about.
I love that this is like our secret little cave system that we got going on.
Oh, it's up the water?
Secret tunnel.
Dirty, dirty dirt.
Tunnel. Dirty, dirty dirt. Through the dirty, dirty dirt.
If we see one on our minimap too, we could like mine to it.
Oh, I
Oh,
found
wait.
a
Oh,
ship.
it's this way. It's this way. Dang. No, this way. Wait.
There's
I
one
don't know how
that
to read
way.
maps. Is it this way?
There's one over here, no?
I don't know.
Oh wait, I know where you're
Dirty,
trying to
dirty
go.
dirt.
Hold on.
Good. I don't. I thought one of these areas just like led right into one.
I also found one. I'll help you mine it. You're gonna need the calcite and the basalt too.
Yeah, I need all of it.
I
Rick,
found
where
it
are
over
you?
here. I found it.
Where are you?
I'll come back.
They're gonna say I found it again.
I found it.
He found it.
He found
Dirty, dirty dirt.
Dirty, dirty dirt.
it.
Go stay.
Yes.
Go stay.
Yes.
Where are?
Around.
Where are you?
And I'm
And
so
I'm so
sorry.
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 I think I'm severely lost.
Are you still in the mine shaft?
Give or take.
Oh,
wait, I see it.
I just left.
Sorry, Brick.
Jiggy jar
Dirty,
jar
dirty
dirt.
dirt.
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Oh, sorry, I said it earlier. Oh, here, follow me. I can show you now. It's right over here. You're welcome.
Fuck you, baby zombie. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Oh, spider.
So can I just like start breaking this?
Creeper.
Oh man.
Aw, man.
Brick creeper.
I'm
Oh,
running.
man.
Can we deal with that spawner that's somewhere around here?
Dirty, dirty dirt. Does it just need one torch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, it's torched.
thank you. This is annoying as fuck and I don't want them to keep spawning.
Why did I just see hearts?
Dirty, dirty
Right.
dirt.
So I need that black stuff, that white stuff, and the purple stuff.
Well, I have one of them.
What? Yeah, I don't need to silk touch anything, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
Are you able to get those?
But we
crystals?
will need to
Crystals?
make multiple trips.
Oh, you can get the crystals with silk touch. I'll grab
No,
some.
you don't. They drop. Oh, no, the crystals. Yeah,
the
leave them.
buttons.
Yeah, leave them, leave them.
Wait, so don't break the crystals?
Yeah. Because
What are
Cookie
the
can
shards
come.
used for that you got?
Dirty, dirty, dir.
The shards?
Okay. Yeah.
I don't fully know what the shards are for. I know you can
You
use.
make a telescope.
Yeah, you can also use them to breed allays.
Do what?
You use it to breed allays.
A laze?
What she meant to say was dirty, dirty, dir.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
No,
What's
the
allays?
allays. A new
Allays,
mob
allays.
that I don't think you know of. I'll have to show you the
They're blue and they fly
Pillager.
around like little fairies.
Yeah, they follow you around. And if you give them an item, they'll like go and search for that item. So like if you're mining, it'll pick it up. Or like if there's
Oh.
flowers, it'll pick it up. And then it follows you and it's super cute. Oh my god, my frames.
It's thundering. We should sleep.
We're in a hole.
Sleep in the hole.
Oh yeah, I was sleeping back. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
You do.
Dirty. Dirty, dirty. So wait, have I been saying it wrong this whole time? Because that is not how I thought it would be spelled. I could
Yeah, I thought it was dirty, dirty, dir.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Dirty, dirty, dir.
Diamonds.
Stop.
Wait, why is this actually like a big name?
Because it's not touching oxygen.
Is this good enough? No, this isn't good enough.
Is that how that works?
Yes. That's why strip mining, I'll get way more diamonds than if we just run around in a big cave.
So will I get bigger if I don't touch oxygen?
You're already so fed and happy.
I am. but I
You're
could
not
be
a
fatter and
diamond,
happy.
Brick.
Be fatter and
Oh.
happier by just simply not breathing.
Amen. I feel that way every morning.
This is
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Actually, I'm just gonna leave it like this and then adjust it. a
I
little
see
bit.
why you wanted help. This is not fun.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of digging
Jesse,
it
how
out.
the fuck have you been doing this for? How long have you been mining that?
Stubborn as fuck. A week or so.
More than that.
Why?
It's been like 2 weeks.
I'm stubborn.
He also likes to terraform and like give himself
dirty
those
dirt.
kind of like tasks.
Yeah.
Jesse's also weird as fuck, so.
Dirty, dirty, dirt. So fuck you.
Yeah, that,
That
proves
proves
my
his
point.
That proves Jesse's point.
Oh.
Fuck you.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Fuck you. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
I still think you need to test it.
Be fun. I already passed school though.
Not that.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
I love the sound of the amethyst.
Breaking it or walking on it?
Both.
Fair enough.
Oh wait, amethyst
question.
like from Steven Universe.
Oh my.
Crystal gems.
Brick, you know how to rage bait people so well without meaning to.
I do.
What did he say?
Is this a good thing?
What did he do to rage bait you?
Because he was like amethyst, like Steven Universe, as if it's not an actual gem. That like,
This is Fortnite.
yeah, it was literally that.
Dude, I watch JoJo's. Someone will say a real life ban, and if it's like a JoJo's thing, I'll be like, oh my god, from JoJo's. I just do that. Dude, I'll see a fence and call it a JoJo's reference. I just do that. We gotta get in the car now.
So Cookie, are you coming up or are we
Stop the
coming up to
car.
get it?
What?
Nice
Are you
name,
coming
Venus.
down or are we coming up
Or
to
the
get the
car
silk
door.
touch?
Oh, no, I've been mining my own geode.
Oh, okay. So do you want us to leave these ones or?
Yeah, so I don't think you can get the whatever it's called, the budding amethyst, like that grow them.
My pickaxe broke.
Can you with
Dirty
silk
dirt.
touch?
No, you can't use silk touch on them. I don't think.
Then how did they work?
Either.
Do you need a pickaxe?
I just
You
built
can
one.
get like the actual crystal parts, like the buds.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't get the actual things they grow on.
Jesse's my bud.
The like cracked ones?
What?
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't think Jesse's my bud.
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Dirty, dirty, dirty. It sounded confused. Why do I feel like this basalt and calcium shit never fucking end? Why is there even more?
Oh.
Why should I agree to this?
Yeah,
Dirty,
there
dirty,
is no
dirty.
way to get it. Rip, okay.
Is there a way to get that one thing? What's it called? Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you need the Jimmy Jar Jar pickaxe.
I should have went to bed.
The Jiggy Jar Jar do.
Jimmy Jar Jar pickaxe.
Rick, we should have just kept playing Pokemon.
I kind of wanted to, but I said I would do
Tomorrow.
things.
I do kind of want to stream it though.
Yeah. Issue, but well, I say issue. I can't stay up late tomorrow. I have work Friday. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Oh, I don't have work Monday.
I mean, I'm free like
Oh, you don't?
most.
No, I don't.
Is there a thing at Triple Nuzlocke?
Yeah, I mean, people done
That
three-way
would
soloing.
That would fucking suck, but I'm down.
I feel like we should not do an infinite fusions, but
Just Pokemon Emerald
Nah,
or
fuck
something?
it.
well, sure. I mean, good.
We have the emulator for it. I just don't know how to randomize it.
Mm-hmm.
I would need help with that. I don't know how to do any of that shit.
We'd have to ask Smilaridon.
What do we do, Emerald? I wouldn't know
I
the
mean-
games very well. I haven't played the older ones.
What if we did an emulated Sun and Moon one?
I don't know, again, I don't know how to randomize it. I don't have it, but somewhere, if I can figure out how to find it, I do actually already have an emulator for it. Me and my friend actually started a Soul Link in Sun and Moon. I forgot if it was Usum or not, but... So I already have a file for that somewhere. I'm running around stuffing my cheeks. Seems Ghostie's inventory is full.
Alright, mine to hold Geode. You guys should probably be good then. Ghost, you're gonna put it where your barn was?
Yeah. Kind of in that little like corner.
And you're gonna move your barn to the other side then?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna have the strip mine be like in between them.
Yeah, I think that would look good.
Cookie, I think you look good.
Thank you, Brick.
Smooches.
You know what? I think.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Yeah.
Jesse, we do know what
I
you think.
know.
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to know what you think.
Oh yeah, guess what I'm thinking of right now.
Penis.
I was thinking of sweatpants, but
Where the fuck that come from? Did you just drop a bomb on my fucking head?
I know that's a lie, because you mainly wear shorts.
I'm wearing
Dirty,
sweatpants
dirty.
right now.
That's because it's cold out right now.
Where did the
No, I'm just like wearing.
mods
amazing
clip it? Did
digital
Ghosty just
circus.
drop a fucking bomb on my head?
I am in the opposite direction of you, Rick.
There's no
Is this
bombs
not
in
you right
Minecraft.
fucking here?
That's not where it exploded. Was it?
Okay.
Well, I don't know where it exploded. It felt like it exploded on top of my fucking head.
Cookie.
You could definitely walk. You're like 10 blocks over.
Cookie.
Yeah.
Did I ever show you my amazing digital circus sweatpants?
No, you didn't.
They're quite comfy. You cannot
You
wear
didn't
them.
show me either. Can I
Dude, I
see?
don't think I would fit in them. Like my legs are a little
I'm
too
kind
long.
of large. No, yeah, you're right. They fit me perfectly though. That's why I wear them all the time.
You wore shorts
not
the entire
shorts.
time, except for when you went to your job interview.
Yeah.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
You think if I went to a job interview and I said, "Let Jiggy Jar crew do," and dirty, dirty, dirty,
I'm pretty sure
I'd
they
fuck
just
that
tell
up.
you to get
And
lost.
then got up on the desk and then fucking started busting a move. Do you think they would join? And
Sir,
I
what are
get
your
a
qualifications
raise.
for this job? Watch this.
Let Jiggy
YouTube
Jar
video.
do.
Jar Jar,
Dirty,
you start
dirty, dirt.
smirking. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
No wonder older generations hate our generation, dude.
Alright, I'm satisfied, Brick.
Few
I got a
more.
whole pretty much
Oh.
chest full of stuff for you guys, so.
Jiggy Jar Jar, dude. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
I was gonna like be a peeve and try and finish it and not leave it like left
Yeah.
over, but I'm just
I
over
mined
it.
out the entire fucking thing.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna do with this one, but I'm kinda over it. I forgot how big these are. Brick,
Yeah.
What?
where you going?
I got lost.
Oh. Come on.
Jiggy Jar
You're
do.
talking to him like a
Dirty,
fucking
dirty,
dog.
dirt.
Come on, Brick. Come on.
People do that a lot. I don't know why.
Because you're such a good boy.
Ew.
That wasn't for you.
Say it again. I think you're lost.
No. Fuck.
The two most people who get lost the most is together in a
We're
queue.
not lost. We're just directionally
either.
challenged. See, it's right there. I knew.
Going upwards.
Did you?
Nope.
Nope.
Jiggy Jar do. Dirty, dirty,
Dirty,
dirty.
dirty.
Are you coming?
Yes.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Oh, my back.
Did you say you're back?
My back, yeah.
So I did hear you right. You just made me conscious of my back, and I realized I really need a
You
stretch.
did the same thing.
Sorry.
Same thing to me.
Yeah, same here.
Work makes my
I
back
literally straightened my
fucking
back.
hurt a lot.
You reminded me that
Dude,
I had a
twisted my
back.
back and it was the loudest pop ever.
So thanks for being in pain, Jesse.
Yeah,
thank you.
no problem. It really
Thanks for
hurts.
reminding me of my back pain.
Appreciate it, dog.
Okay,
Mhm.
Brick, how
I'll be
autistically
in
gifted are you?
How
What?
what?
How autistically gifted are you?
I have no idea.
He's like, alright, test me.
I know Pokemon.
Did you see the one TikTok I sent you, Cookie? You go into the
I
autism
haven't-
test. Yep. And then he walks out.
Are you good with art
No.
or making plans in Minecraft?
No.
Whereas-
I play Bed Wars.
I play Bed Wars.
I'm gonna show you a photo.
Cookie.
Sounds good, man.
Cookie, we
This
need
is
you.
your address.
I just want to send a
This
pic.
is not
Give me
your
one
house.
second.
Dirty, dirty.
What do you need help with?
No, no, no.
Fuck you mean no
What do
no
we
no.
know?
Hold
yes, yes. He's the one good at this.
on. Hold on.
I'm gonna stand here and watch this happen. I'll give you the materials and I'm just gonna watch.
I like that idea.
I dropped the mud block.
Here it goes. Check the jubble chest.
What?
The jumbo chest.
The double
Jubble
check.
chest.
They're laughing at me. That's not nice.
I don't think you heard how you sounded, Rick.
I was like that. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
So break. I want something like this. Hold on. The first photo is gonna be what I want. The second photo is gonna be the curvature of it.
Can
It
you
looks
send
like
me
a
the images?
pussy.
I just want to see.
I'm gonna be completely honest. But do you know what I'm talking about?
So yeah, so you want it kind of spreading out, but smaller.
Yeah.
Watch.
So we gotta turn.
Rick does not understand.
I play Bed Wars.
Build battle. Build battle.
I was dog shit, Bill Battle.
Yeah,
Can I send you the clip?
He was.
I don't know how to play stairs. No, Jesse, you're not supposed to
How do
agree.
stairs
go
upside
Jesse-
down?
Jesse, you're supposed to say no, Brick. You tried your best, and I'm proud of you, even if I
You
suck.
tried your damn best, Brick. I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Jesse. See, this is why I like Jesse. He supports me.
You tried your damn best, buddy.
How do you play stairs upside down?
That was the funniest shit watching you just fucking panic. Ugh.
You want me to do this shit?
So you know the geode you broke, Brick? Make that.
Remember how you broke it. Place it in the exact same
I wasn't
spot.
paying attention. How many times I said Jiggy 𝚃𝚆𝙷𝚃 and dirty dirt during that? I don't remember shit. I wasn't paying attention.
It's simple, Brick. We just gotta recreate it.
It's simple.
It's so easy.
No,
It's so easy, Brick.
it'd be so awesome.
It would be so cool.
So cool. If you just made a fucking geo brick.
Fuck.
That's awesome.
I almost
Did
did
you
it
fall
again. I
Did you fall?
almost did. Yeah. Oh, Brick, we
Sure
weren't
did.
lying. Okay,
Wasn't lying.
so now we need to make this more round.
Oh, I know a thing or two about being around.
Oh, you reached a specialty.
What
So
layer should
fat
we
and
start with?
comfortable.
Should we do the amethyst first, or
I would do the basalt first, because that's the outer layer.
Mm.
Wait, you would
If you get
start
the
with the
shape you want.
outside?
And then
I
you can
guess
get the
that's
Why
shape
would
you
you
want.
start with the inside? You couldn't.
What?
It's showing, right? It's exposed.
Yeah.
Then yeah, start with the outside.
okay,
And you asked
Brick?
me to do this?
Yeah.
She asked
We
you
need
to
a
do this. She
professional
told me not to
builder.
help. I'm here to watch.
Apparently, I'm
Person
watching
that
too.
Brick,
shows
content.
videos.
What?
Content.
Content.
It's just math, Brick. Just math.
Of the views, Brick.
Dude, my last math class made me want to drop out and fucking keep myself safe.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm assuming you want to do that.
Yeah, is it 8 out?
I don't fucking know. I didn't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. When that was that's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hold on.
This is supposed
1,
to be 8 or
2,
9.
3,
You just watch, dude. Just
Okay.
6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on, I lagged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
just comes
Yeah,
down
it's
to
supposed
the
to be
chest
9 out.
quickly.
9 out. 9 out.
Wait, but did you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? This one is 8. Not counting this fucking thing. This is 8. This is 9.
No.
See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Stand on the
7,
chest.
8,
Just watching.
9. See?
No, I
Idiot.
like this angle.
Okay,
I
okay.
like it here.
So then we should.
Nice angle pun.
Why does this not look even? Well, let's recount. 1,
Jesse, you're fucking okay.
I'm looking at my tape.
Okay. Sure. And then it kind of is like uneven, right? I'm getting those vibes, so it's like
Hi, Jesse.
we build
What's
it
your
up,
name?
You're
Oh,
not
and
supposed
build
to
it
be
up
here.
some
Hold
more.
on, I'll take my backpack off.
Build it up.
I saw it. It's pretty nice. Oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention. What?
Replicate that.
But it's not even.
I know it's not supposed to be
Why not?
because it's gonna. It's
Jesse's
it's because it's not.
Wait, is that right? And then.
Don't get in the camera, dog.
And
I just
then-
want to
and
stand on the
then,
fence.
like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then- Dude, did you not see how dog shit I did at Speed Builder?
Okay.
That's like memory and matching and shit. Did I do it? Why does it not look even? I think it's that third block. I think it's fucking me up. It looks uneven. That like the staircase on one side.
How are we
One,
gonna?
two,
Wait,
three,
Brick,
four,
Brick,
five,
Brick.
one,
Hold
two,
on, Brick, Brick.
It's
What?
pissing me
What?
off.
What?
Jesse, did you see the fucking
How do we
reference
make-
What?
pictures?
How do we
No,
make
no.
another portal?
What the
Going
fuck do
to
you mean?
that.
How do we make?
How do we make another
look at my
portal
screen.
like curve?
Make a nether portal? Like
Yeah, what would we have to do? Like, do we do the nether portal here and then the nether portal here?
Wait, this is gonna be a nether portal?
Yeah.
I understand what she's going for.
I fucking don't, and I'm the one helping.
All I'm saying is that I have a better idea, but you know I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let them.
Wait,
suck.
why did VTube Studio die?
Why am I being lumped
Why am
in
I
like
supposed to spawn?
into this?
Okay,
I'm being
Brick,
forced.
you don't have to if you don't want to. I will suffer in this alone.
No,
it's
do it,
funny.
Brick. I have the perfect angle.
Alright, it's funny, but it's just people are laughing at me when you ask the least helpful person to help you. I'll try my best. You guys are really just fucking watching. Y'all got your popcorn.
I'm in F1. My hands are off my keyboard.
Y'all got popcorn. I'm hungry.
I could make some.
Oh, she's placing shit. I gotta get back to work. Alright, you lost me. Was there one?
Don't
No,
worry,
wait.
I'm lost too.
Wait, where? Oh, sorry, I'm filling this shit in.
No, hold on. Let me just cook for
No.
a sec.
That's a gal cook.
You sure?
No.
Big man blasters,
Big man blasters, big man blasters, big man blasters, big man blasters.
This is my boss. I punched the block and you said no.
Because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go, Brick.
Do that.
Am I supposed to?
So I don't want you to recreate it because I'm making shit up.
Yeah. So what am I supposed to do?
Let's sit there and look pretty. Twerk for our fans.
The sun's coming up. This is so majestic.
If I was on Lunar, I could twerk.
Can you not spam it?
Is this
Or you get
is
sick
this
of
supposed to
you?
be uneven?
No, he has a twerk emo.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I see.
You'd see
Oh,
it.
just hey Yoshi. That's.
Are these supposed to be even? Because
Yeah, what
it's
the hell,
not.
Paul?
I don't
and it's
know
uneven.
yet. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Quirky mode. Thank you, Paul. Paul's got you. Don't worry. We're watching a masterclass building right now. I'm taking notes.
Are we breaking all the dirt? Got you.
Jiggy jar jar do. Dirty dirty
Dirty,
dirty.
Dirty dirt. I like the way your horse is looking at me.
Leaving air pockets. I think it's part of the expertise. I'm not sure.
You have to ask
I'm-
the experts here.
I'm
We're just
letting.
watchers.
Yeah. We're just watchers.
We're observers.
Yeah.
I'm like a little bit of
I
both.
know.
She told us not to help.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I don't want
Call
help
me
with
the
all of
fucking
my
help
builds. Rick, cause you're my
Is what?
fucking neighbor.
Hi, neighbor. Do we want this to be this too?
Oh god. No. But like I see it. But
I do see it, but
I
it's just
see it.
executed. So-
Wait, maybe I need it from their
You
angle.
need to- Yeah. Pull up my string.
Okay,
Get the fuck out of my
okay.
camera, bitch.
Don't
push
push
me.
me.
I didn't mean to. You want to start this fight? I play Bed Wars.
I don't play Bed Wars. I
Know
keep
your
having
place.
Time lapse. You fucked up the time lapse.
Wah, wah, wah.
Ghost, if you need like a point of view, you can pull up my stream. Don't, Brick.
No, I just think it would be funny for the time lapse if I like jumped in a frame like this.
Drink water. Fuck.
So what?
Loser.
I feel so useless. I was asked to help and I've gotten no instruction.
Cause
I
I
think
think the last bit of gamer subs you
you
had.
you showed me a reference image.
Paul.
This looks fucking nothing like it.
cause
This
I'm
is
trying not to
so fucking
copy.
What did you guys do?
Robert, it's
I looked away for
off.
2 seconds.
Hold on.
Don't say you guys. I haven't placed a fucking block in like 5 minutes.
Okay, she's fixing it. She will
You
fix
could
it.
say.
I don't.
How's your day going, Paul?
Oh my god, it's just a stair, like a solid 1 block up on the side.
A salad?
Yeah, that's a stair. I can't say this,
I'm fixing it. Please, you have to believe me.
No,
We
my
need-
stair. I was
we
going
need-
up.
we need to believe
Dirty,
it,
dirty,
chat.
dirty.
Just got off Phasmophobia.
Oh.
Me and Jesse played that game once for I think
Yeah.
a solid 12 minutes.
It was.
Pissed
was it
off
12?
Coda, and then we got off.
Oh my god, we pissed off Coda. That was the best day ever.
Dirty, dirty,
I remember
dirty.
she walked into the room and you said, "I'm stroking myself." In the corner."
Oh god, that was great. Coda was great.
That's my favorite thing. Too bad she stopped streaming. I still want to play
Yeah.
her though. Actually, I should probably message her. Talk to her.
Are you giving a show,
She might-
Brick?
Am I helping the time lapse? now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Am I forgiven?
Yeah.
What's Alan Wake event?
Who's that? He sounds like a surfer.
Ellen. No, that would be Ellen.
Alan?
Wake.
You know, oh, wakeboarding, right?
Oh, wakeboarding. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You guys ever tried using a what are they called, a boogie board, and you just eat absolute shit on them?
Oh,
I get boogie.
we have a-
bombed.
YMCA that has the surfing
YMCA.
simulator on it.
Oh,
I
God.
got fucking sent off that shit so fast. How do you not know the Alan Wake games? There's games.
Paul, I just want you to know, Cookie
I don't-
doesn't
You
know
know the stripping
anything
games?
that outside of like Minecraft and Marvel Rivals.
I know
Hey,
Pokemon.
I know Pokemon.
Oh, and Pokemon. He knows Pokemon.
I know.
Like, that's
I
the
know
three
more
things.
Pokemon. This
And
guy's
Rick
bad at
knows more
Pokemon.
Pokemon, nonetheless.
Bro's uncultured? No. Let's see you
Yeah.
rebuild an engine, huh?
Yeah, just-
Okay.
Yeah, this guy doesn't know who Alan Wake is.
Yeah, watch you rebuild an engine. I spent 5 hours making this work, and then we had to cancel Subnautica 2 stream for it.
Dirty, dirty,
Dude,
dirty.
that pressure washer and lawnmower. I'm too stubborn. Bro's not a gamer.
Really good.
No, Brick. Paul. I spend most of my weekends working at something with an engine.
I don't
I don't. I spend it editing.
play video games.
Yeah, Jesse. So, I was uploading a VOD
Mm.
last night, and then I click continue, and now it just won't upload. It says it's been trying to upload for 2 minutes for the past like 8 hours.
Oh.
Go. Do you want me to do
upload
anything?
the same
Or...
file. Hydrate.
I still don't know
Oh,
what
do I
to
have to
do.
cancel it and then?
I would love to
Just
help.
upload the same
but-
file. Hi, Paul.
What do you mean upload the same file?
So
No, because I
hit-
started it last night, and then you know how you can click continue and then close out of it? It'll still go.
Yeah, it was just so blurry. I don't like
What
it.
worked for me was hitting create and then putting the same file in.
I'll
and then
show you,
it
I'll show you.
continued it. But I can't
Sure.
tab out. I can't tab
You
out.
can.
No, I can't.
Oh.
It'll bring up my menu. Paul says the hydrate brick.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not a flower. I don't
Okay,
need
okay,
water.
hold on. Fine. Okay, I did it. Yeah. So hit
No, dude.
create.
What?
Hit create. And then if you upload the
Fine.
same exact file, it worked for me last time. but
So I
if
have to
not, then you
cancel
have to
this one?
delete it. No, don't cancel it.
I'll
Just
get a
upload the
drink
same
just
file.
for Paul.
It may not work. If it doesn't, then
Oh,
delete it.
Deleted it.
All right, Ghost. Now what?
That's why it didn't finish.
Guys, I feel so
But I
useless.
did that this morning though, where my computer was
Okay,
on.
like I want to
for
help, but I have
hours.
no idea what the fuck to do.
It's okay.
My computer was on hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. If I
Now
don't have the file, it won't upload.
we fill the
I'll
rest
have
with
to re-download
purple.
it from Twitch.
Alright. Yeah, this
I'll
is
do
a
that
good
later,
POV,
Paul.
right?
Purple.
make a
Well, what's
time
like the
lapse of how
rest?
long it
Like,
would take.
are we copying that one with like the water where it's like
Oh,
the
I need to get my water
the
bottle.
rim?
I'll be back.
Yeah, rim and then maybe go one down.
so break the floor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Careful, I think we dropped
Paul,
it off at
did
one
you
point.
see I got new 𝚃𝚷𝙷𝙃 emotes?
Because I want it to be like you
Redeems,
walk
redeems,
down
that's
it.
the word.
Do you feel me?
That's the word.
It'd be pretty weird if I felt you, but I think I get what you mean.
Yeah, I got 𝚃𝚷𝙃 thingies.
Should
This
we
is a fun
go
noise. Ding, ding, ding.
Hello, I'm back. I
here
have water.
before you fill in
I
the
bet.
full wall?
Okay.
Professional streamer, by the way. No.
Am I going? Are we going over
I've
here
never
too?
once claimed that I was a
Frick.
professional streamer ever in my life.
Didn't you earlier?
No. Shut up,
Okay.
Rick.
Why am I even here?
Love you.
Should we do one more? And make it layered?
One
Or-
more what?
Come here. Make it
I
layered.
too, but I didn't have enough.
So-
What do I have it set to?
Inwards one
like
more.
that?
Yeah, come here
Oh,
and
they're
look
only
at it.
500.
Ye-
Come here, come here, come here.
Wait, I don't have a Miku one. Oh, not mine.
Yeah.
5K.
yes.
You're checking a ghost? For me, it says they're 5
Hey, Miku.
Wait, but like this whole wall or like where? Like a what?
Do
That's
another
a
like
Western
outer
wall?
ring. And then we'll see.
5K? What the fucking dogging, dude? I hate it so much. I need to remake it.
No, leave it.
That wasn't who
Oh, wait,
was-
leave it that.
was-
Leave that. Leave that. Leave it like that. Leave it like that.
Come
Come here, come here, come here, come here.
One more fucking time.
And then we mine out that and do one more layer of purple. What do you think? And make that like that center part right there the nether
Wait.
portal.
Hold on. Jesse was yelling about Hatsune Miku. I didn't hear part
Nice.
of it.
So
That keeps
Haida.
dropping the Hatsune Miku statue figure, and then I have to reassemble it.
So this wall right here, we
Okay.
mine it out and replace it,
Okay.
but and then right behind it is the nether portal.
I'm putting
Which-
Hatsune Miku on top.
So what are we replacing it with?
The purple
If-
still.
Or- Okay.
Okay.
So this wall comes down.
Yeah. And then this wall becomes purple.
This one?
Yeah.
Kaida, you have no, like, well-being for anything around you. Knocking over all my shit. Hatsune Miku falling apart. Don't jump on my PC. You're not allowed up there anymore.
Gaming.
Sit on my mouse!
You all of the Tangias, Paul, on my stream say they're 5K?
Kinda.
They say they're 500 for me.
Kaida. Come here.
My bad.
Why are you making that face to me, Paul? Huh? Huh? Why you do that?
Keeps misspelling machine.
What are we doing with the floor?
Purple
Got
too,
it.
probably.
Like this layer or replace it?
Replace the layer below it. This layer.
I'm assuming it worked.
Yeah, it does.
Guys, I'm helping.
It's so loud.
Kaida, I'm texting.
You didn't hear it?
No? Why would I hear it?
No, not you, Paul.
Oh.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, do you have
know the text to
monitoring?
audio?
Monitoring?
What?
I
In,
scammed you?
He can play it again for you. When he fixes it, that is.
Well, how do I
Kaida.
fix it?
Kaida, I am texting my father. Stop nudging my hand. Fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Don't work.
You fucking bitch. You cute
I
bitch.
like it.
I think like these parts look weird. I think these need more like texture.
Hold on, Paul. Oh. I don't have audio set up for it. That's
Like-
my bad.
Like I think these need more of like a corner.
Here, Paul.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't ask me how to do it though.
Um.
Did you hear it then? Yeah. Here, this was one of my favorites. Hold on.
Like that?
I just do that.
Just to be. Kaida, you have no care for your surroundings, sweet girl.
Actually, I don't know how I feel about these two layers being like the same like flatness. But I guess that's how it is in the picture. No, well, not in every part.
Like that? Well, it's just gonna be the same if I do like that too.
Get the Leon restart one.
Like, see, like it looks. I don't know. I
Okay.
feel like it looks better when it's not so
Needs a
smooth.
Leon
But
restart one. Ghost has a Leon restart one, and she was saying that she's upset that people don't use it that often. So this is your cue to spam it. Kaida, that is my Funko Pop of Withered Bonnie. Stop knocking over my shit. Kaida, come here. Come here. You're a lap cat now. You're a lap cat now.
What about that?
Oh. I don't know which one it is, Paul, but I'll do
I
it.
died. Restart?
Restart? Would you like to restart?
Anyway, so do you like that better, Brick? I don't know where I placed my thing.
I don't know about. I don't know how I feel about this.
She just did the quickest goon ever.
The part that's like
What?
hanging.
Yeah, she's speed gooned.
Jesse.
What?
6, 7. Jar Jar do. Kaida, can you get out of my personal
I don't think
space,
she's a part
please?
of this song.
She is now. That's the remix.
I gotta see from every angle.
Is it a storm?
Am the storm that is approaching.
Oh,
I love
it.
it.
Oh my god.
I am the storm that is approaching.
Facing the opposite direction. Does that mean her screen blinded her?
Oh shit! Wait, hold on.
Wall.
I need to go do something.
At least I know when she gets fucking storm approaching.
It's so
Yeah,
loud.
she has it so incredibly loud, and she refuses to turn it down.
'Cause
even
the
when I say, "Hey,
funnies."
it's hurting my ears." So I probably, you know.
Does this look better though? You guys stop putting
It does.
input.
I was dealing with a cat.
I'm going
I
through
know, I
Tangia.
heard.
And
And then the back wall is gonna be another portal. I just don't have obsidian.
you want nitty gritty details?
What?
I don't like that it's a straight one block and like step up.
Yeah, well, I'm not good at terraforming, and it was hard for me to even build this.
I asked if you wanted the input. Don't cry. Jeez.
No, you guys can mess with it now. I just wanted to get my initial like idea onto it, and then be like, okay.
Hey,
Looks
would
like
you
shit.
my input? I would love your input. Stop attacking me.
Well, it wouldn't look like shit if someone didn't build their fucking staircase right there, and I actually had that corner.
That's Keenan's fault. How's that our fault?
You fucking fuck you poop.
I might make his staircase at least right there, like deep slate or something, so it blends a bit better.
You could definitely move it if you want. I don't think
Yeah.
you would care.
I just feel bad because I was gonna like if I had the choice, I'd move it like
Bad. It's Keenan. Don't
I'd move
feel
it
bad.
more
I think he
this
will
right here.
care.
I'd move it on this wall right here, so then it
Move
kind of
on
like
that wall.
leads it. But that's a lot of work, and then that means I'd have to redo my geode.
Fair enough. Are
Get
you
it?
gonna fill it with water like the photo?
No, I wanted it to be like a walk-in.
Are you gonna put an enchantment table in there?
I don't know, probably not.
Another
Okay.
portal, no?
Yeah, another.
Oh,
That's what the back wall is.
right.
And then I was gonna deck it out as well and have like an armor stand or something outside of it because I like to keep like a gold piece of armor next to another portal. So I remember.
Kinda. Can I have my mouse, sweet girl? No, you're not allowed on the PC.
I just don't have any obsidian, and I don't really know what like a good hack to get it is. Also need to organize my chests and actually get storage.
There's a
Let's-
ruined portal nearby.
Yeah, but doesn't it take a while to break the obsidian?
Why don't we just
It's better
break
than
the
go
other nether
finding it
portal
and
we
breaking
have?
more obsidian. Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, we
just
could.
go
I
ahead.
didn't know if we wanted to keep that up though.
I think it would. mess-
I just said no on PC, motherfucker.
Well,
Very good.
I didn't. We don't have to.
No, it's too late. I'm already breaking it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I wanted to try and leave up as much stuff as we build. As we
Yeah, but
can.
we were planning on moving this anyways.
I
This is
guess,
a
yeah.
perfect spot.
So hard.
I
to be
know-
a single father to a cat that just wants to. knock
I don't
over your
think
house
you're
and
a
make your
single.
Statues.
Single father.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
if
pretty.
only someone could help me or anything.
Gonna tell you to sleep on the couch
Meh.
tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Paul, I didn't see you had a 25 fucking stream streak. What's wrong with you?
You're watching Jesse the wrong. Something's wrong with you.
Every time I play Minecraft, I'm just mining out a cave.
Alright, added the obsidian to
This
the.
cannot be
chest.
entertaining.
I'm really hoping that this idea doesn't look like shit with my shaders.
I'm back.
Alright, now I'm gonna stand here and watch Jesse mine.
Good idea. Hold on, I'm gonna put my playlist on this, and
I'm
then
bored.
I'm gonna do. I didn't even fucking start mining yet.
Ice bucket challenge. Where did everybody go?
I'm right here.
My cave.
To get obsidian.
Hello.
Obsidian.
I think we should kill our horse and pretend it just went missing.
Send it to the glue factory.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn your ass into glue. Dude, I'm gonna
What?
play the game so bad.
I knew you were gonna say that.
It's fun.
You played
Did you
it?
play it?
Musume?
No,
not
horsey
Musume.
game.
Oh.
You were asleep, but we watched Puffer play it for an hour.
Fair enough.
He made a second video on it.
Actually, I'm so certain you were asleep, so I'm not gonna say we.
You watched it.
I watched it.
Did you see the huge ass cherry tree that grew in front of your house?
Yeah, I planted it. I wanted to
I didn't know
see
they
if
got that.
yeah, I was like, I wonder if I do a 4 if it actually works, because I thought it was just it didn't work.
Wait, 4 works?
Yeah. Come look
I'm
at some.
coming.
You guys didn't know that?
Break.
Should have you played Bed Wars?
I
How do you-
love Bed Wars.
Hey, break.
Oh,
Yeah, what's up?
yeah.
How do you craft a barrel?
Isn't this just?
Ghost, I forget how to do that.
Uh,
all the time. I don't think
It's
Wow,
that's
this guy
fair.
doesn't.
slabs.
This guy doesn't know how to craft the barrel. Ouch.
You use slabs.
Obviously
Did you
you
have
open your 3x3 crafting table and place a wooden plank any type along the far left and right columns. No.
reading off
No. And 2 wooden slabs any type and the top center and bottom center slots.
Duh.
Idiots. Why'd you have to pick a barrel? I don't know that one.
Because I didn't
Pick a
want to
different
do
one.
a simple one, because I didn't know what Bed Wars teaches you.
Nothing.
Not to craft. Not to craft.
zero
That's for
crafting
damn
in there.
sure.
What were you going to say about the cherry tree, though, Jesse?
I thought. I know I may be mistaken, but I could have sworn those are just 4 separate saplings
Mistake.
close to each other.
Oh, wait. Well, it might be, but I mean, it still grew. When technically cherry
Yeah,
blossoms
fucking
don't
true.
grow next to each other, they have to be pretty far apart. So I take it as that was a
I
4.
don't know.
I like the
I-
big
yeah, I
tree,
wouldn't
though.
know.
It's pretty.
Hmm.
I honestly like them better than the
I've
smaller
just never
ones.
seen these spawn in the wild.
I think I could climb this.
I don't think 4x4s ever spawn in the wild except for dark oak, no?
I meant the cherry
Pale oak,
blossoms. So.
Bruce,
Well, pale oak only
Jungle.
can grow.
jungle, spruce.
Okay. I like the big trees, though. Much better than the smaller.
Oh yeah, me too.
How much is it to make a portal? Wait, I
I
just have to
put
make my portal
well done,
square,
yes.
right?
I had 4 and you guys didn't take it. Your loss.
I never said I didn't want it.
Not obsidian.
Oh. They just have to be square, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should I hide the obsidian?
Probably.
If you so desire.
Would that hide it enough, do you think? I feel like showing it right here wouldn't be terrible.
Just place it down and see how I can break it.
I don't hate it.
Remember, the portal will be in the line. We'll make it a line. Whatever. That made sense in my head.
Remember, you don't need to break the corners.
I don't need to build the corners?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Gotta go.
I don't have fire starter on.
Yeah, neither do I.
I ain't no arsonist. I am an Overwatch, but not in Minecraft.
Fireball.
Dude, Jesse, they have a character in
Fireball.
Overwatch that I fucking love.
Is
Yeah,
it
me
the
too.
same
It's
guy
a-
with
it's
the
a
minigun?
cat.
No.
Oh,
It's
I like that cat.
I know about the cat. Don't worry.
I love
it's
the fuck ass
she's
cat.
like she's an arsonist.
I saw the cat when it came out.
I like the cat.
Fucking cat.
I love the fuck ass cat.
And then
Okay,
place
cat.
amethyst behind it. Make it more purple.
His
Mm.
ass is not
Mhm.
reading.
And then once I get enough, I might make it on the other side too.
I
Put
see.
your hands up.
But I don't know. It would have that
Does
line
someone
on
wanna-
it.
Someone want a totally not poisonous potato?
I'm gonna try something.
Okay.
Cookie wants it.
I think so.
He responded first, so.
This is true.
Also, good news. It doesn't look bad with our shaders.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna replace the back wall behind it.
Okay. I don't really like the black showing in the middle, but
I don't know if there's a way to get rid of that.
not fully, no. It would always look weird.
I didn't mean to do that. Wait, I did do this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Leave
I didn't know if that was supposed to. Oh, it's alright. Yeah, that's. I was.
I think this is the big enough platform.
Yeah.
Good job,
Oh,
team.
let's go down here.
High fives around.
Jiggy jiggy jar jar do. Dirty dirty dir.
I like it.
It should spawn us to the same.
Wait, hold on. Let me put my armor on first.
Okay, so it didn't spawn us in the same spot. Only 33.
Yo, should I go
God.
punch one of these guys?
Yeah.
N-
He plays Bed Wars.
Yeah, he plays Bed Wars. He'll be fine.
I can take them on.
You can take him.
It's not the same
I think
spot,
so.
but it's also not terrible.
It's 33 blocks away from the other portal.
Oh, okay.
It's literally just
I'm
Tommy.
coming to see.
The bad words in me really wanted to hit you off.
Please don't tell me this is on a cliff.
Close.
No, well,
Yes.
Oh, I see.
uh,
We're gonna need to baby
not-
proof
You have
that
no
for my sake.
armor?
the
No, I
spawn,
don't wear armor. It looks bad on me. I like to wear my skin.
the spawn right next to a cliff, and Ghosty didn't jump off.
Miraculous.
Making it out of dirt.
Just for now.
I have this.
It's not better. I'm going, why do I have a poisonous potato?
Because you wanted it.
No
You already asked
reason.
for it.
Alright, that's
I
baby
don't
perfect
think I
enough.
did.
I remember.
Yep.
I'm being followed. I'm bringing them towards us, so.
I ran the wrong way.
Wait, what?
Guys, I put on armor for fucking Cookie.
Do
Just to leave immediately.
For what?
you like it, Jesse?
I don't
I
consent.
do, yeah. Obviously, my nitty gritty stuff is still here, but you know, it's really nice. I do like it.
I think it needs to look more natural with the basalt. It looks like staircases. That's just
Yeah.
me, though.
I can't really
That's also-
terraform for shit.
Jesse.
Jesse.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
What I am actually gonna do is decorate my house.
I'm not gonna do it. Bye, guys.
Leaves.
You,
I
you
did,
need
I
all these
fucking did.
seeds.
What?
Do you need all these seeds?
You can use those to get bone meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want.
Wait, oh wait, we were supposed to move the composter over here.
Yeah.
I'll go get it.
Okay, have fun.
Don't piss
Cookie,
yourself.
what's this here? Is this?
Oh my god, your pumpkins are still here. That's something else you should grow.
What?
Is this a mud farm or what is?
Yeah,
this?
next to my house.
You're giving me too
Yeah.
many things to
Yeah.
do.
Sorry,
Okay, yeah,
Rick.
I've been there.
I'll make it look pretty one day.
All right, fair enough. I was just
I'm
curious.
too lazy right now.
Fair enough. This will come in handy.
This
I still need to make a wall for down here. I don't know.
I gotta play Monster Hunter again.
Yeah.
Redwood.
There's a few things I want to do here. So
I-
we need to.
Jesse, I hate the way you have these set up. I don't know if it was you or Keenan.
The stairs. That's Keenan.
I fucking hate it.
I'm gonna be
So
so
much.
honest with you. All I did was hollow at the room.
I think we should just fucking revamp the whole thing.
Right now.
No, unless you want to, but like actually make it look nice. Because you know how we have the villagers where you could just walk up to them and they stand on their beds?
Yeah.
And then
Do they not stand on their beds?
well, they do, but it's just really far away.
Oh, because of the stair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did this here so he could get the XP. Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm not getting that back.
It's just annoying when, like, even when you're trying to sleep, like, you gotta wake them up, and then they're still far away, and then you have to go down here and trade with them.
Well,
That's fair, but still, to trade with them, they go to the other side of the bed.
I can go do it from here. Wait, do you
Not
have
when they're
stairs
against the
here?
back wall, though. I just hate it.
Okay. This is how we normally make the room. Oh, it's just the stair that you're pissed about. Okay.
Yeah, and it's,
Okay.
you know, everything's stone and dirt.
Yeah. Tomato. I've been hollowing out a fucking cave. I'm used to seeing that shit.
Do you just want to take a break from that and decorate this?
Sure. What I want to do is I want to get all these guys out and give them jobs, and we need a lot of these.
I want to
We
get a
haven't made
cheaper
any of
thing.
these. And then when this is done, I'm gonna put an auto sugarcane and bamboo farm.
Well, I could do that.
So that okay.
I'm not
we
gonna do a
need an outfit.
sugarcane one. Sugarcane ones are really slow.
I actually
the whole
just,
way.
Both, but that's okay.
I actually just fed so much bread to the barrel. I didn't know you could do that. I was trying to eat it.
So it looked like this. I'm getting rid of all the stairs. Fuck Keenan and his XP. We have a mob farm.
Yeah, we do. Well, put the we need the things in here too.
Yeah. What kind of blocks do you want to use?
Hey, neighbor.
This is taking forever.
You want me to do it?
Nah, you can help.
Okay.
For wood, I have dark oak, spruce, oak, pale oak, some birch,
Out of seeds.
a lot of stone.
Okay.
I have a decent amount of deep slate, and I have other blocks like tough.
Wait, you're using
wait,
wheat?
tough
You can do
brick?
that too.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. What if we did mud for the floors?
Right.
I hate
Why you sound so depressed?
that you're doing this. Some spruce. If you get some dark oak and some slabs.
Dark oak, yeah. Yeah, I like the spruce logs meshed with dark oak.
Yeah, I have mud bricks and tough. I'm just gonna try some other things.
Okay.
What are you doing with this?
I'm turning it back into
I kind
lawn.
of have an idea for the sugarcane farm.
Bamboo.
Bamboo. I'm gonna have like a ladder
Say
system
pond?
going down,
Mm-hmm.
and then having a bunch of different levels to it.
Okay.
So if we do something like this, and then made the roof one taller and had archways,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
two taller,
Too taller for sure.
two taller, okay. Just to make the room look bigger.
Are you getting rid of
Oh,
all
yeah.
this?
Yeah, all the stuff that doesn't have wheat.
Yeah, it's not too big of a room. Not a lot
Mhm.
of opportunities, so probably something basic is good.
Are you just covering this water?
Yeah. Well, I broke this and then placed wood. Or fuck, not wood. Dart.
Fuck the wood.
Arch.
Don't back the wood.
Cause I want a really
Oh,
pretty
shit,
place to
that's
put
so
like the like my flowers and stuff.
Oh, shit things.
Okay. Oh shit, thanks. Are we getting rid of the ones up here too?
Yeah.
That looks a lot better.
Yeah, this is a lot bigger.
And then
I have an axe in my hotbar. Can you break that?
Yeah.
Do you have a
Thanks.
dark oak stairs?
yeah.
Oh wait,
I might
I
write
should
that
have.
down. Hold on.
Oh,
I
thought
have
you
two
dropped one.
backpacks. No.
I do too.
Close enough.
My bad.
You're good. I forgot to.
My bad.
My fault. Ben.
If we do something like that, and then
Yeah.
kind of like that, and then
Log here.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Not-
Jesse,
Oh, yeah.
I have a drink.
Or you
You're
want
I'm
like
third.
thirsty.
I was thinking like that. And then go to stair, and then you can put slabs in between.
sorry,
What do you
whoops.
want to drink?
Can I have
Yeah. How's that?
my Sunny D?
Sunny D?
You-
Okay.
How about Sunny D's nut? I'll be back.
Watch.
Did you turn on the AC?
I did. It
It's
hasn't-
hot.
Did not. No.
Shiver me timber.
Hours. I sound like your dogs always sound so angry.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
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 I am back.
Dirty.
Skin is time. Or would it be bad to break that and just put logs? And then what if you put log there? What if it goes up one more?
I think the roof should go up one more.
Hmm. Is this a counter arch
I don't know what that
on the
means.
outside? So, do you have a stair of something else?
Yes.
Can I see it, for example? Okay, so for the other layer, would it start here?
Oh, yeah, I think that would look good.
Okay. Are we doing a... I'll finish up that later.
Dirty.
Dirty. Damn it. So... Hear me out.
Here.
Hear me out. We should move this here, and then do it every... How many are there? Oh, this is off. That's awful.
He's so
Yeah.
fat and comfortable.
If we
So
move
stubby.
the breeding room back one,
Mhm.
because it doesn't need that much.
Yeah.
I want
We'll just-
one.
You want one? We can
No,
go
I
get
love
you
the
one.
whole. It sounds like a lot of work.
What
Moo.
can Cookie do?
Nothing. I said we can go get you one.
When,
If you-
when
if
are
you
they
feed it-
adding the update where I can hold a dog?
If you feed it a golden dandelion, it stays a puppy.
Yeah.
Really?
Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with their
It's
new
awesome.
update. They kept it to where you can have puppies and stuff. with
Okay,
it.
but
Oh.
when can I hold one in my
See, look,
hands?
now his growing time is paused, so he'll always stay a puppy.
Oh, do you have one?
Yeah.
Small. It's so small. Oh my. I love
It can be your emotional support dog.
I mean, probably just beat them.
Yeah, I found out that you can have the baby gas stay a
Nothing.
baby too.
I didn't really want to hold that. Okay, I'm gonna move this over. I bet you think I miss
So-
your house.
I go see what they're doing.
Nothing.
I'll be the judge of that.
So if we have it that one, if we have it at that one, no.
Hmm.
Fuck,
Little
this is
brick.
uneven.
How so?
Can I ring the bell? Will this fuck something up if I ring the bell?
No. 3, 4, 5.
No, I can't ring it. No, it won't fucking thing up.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You can ring it.
I mean, unless we get rid of this room here, Jesse, on both sides.
What? How? Explain. Explain yourself.
And then started it from here,
Why would we do that?
and then
It's already
fill
an
this
odd.
in.
No, it's an odd already. We like odds. We like odds.
Okay, so
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Mhm.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 15.
What happened
That's like
here?
I
the
have no
beautiful
idea.
number.
all right, I want to just see.
Did I
what
do
you-
that? Did I zone out and do this?
4, 5, 6, 7.
I wouldn't necessarily blame you.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you see what I'm just trying to say?
That this is the middle.
No.
Yeah, because if we do it like this,
Why don't we just kill this guy?
oh, wait, how are you wanting to do it? Oh, are you wanting to have just 3 of them?
Yeah. So it's just these 3. And then we just get rid of this middle one
We
for
just move
aesthetic
them over.
purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Is
think
that
we can do
cool?
that.
Should we extrude these pillars?
What?
Should we like have
No.
them here? No.
No.
All right. Okay, I don't have materials, so I'll watch you build. 𝚃𝚆𝙸𝙷𝚃𝙷 dirty dirty
Dirty,
dirty.
dirty, dirt.
Okay, this one.
Running out of spruce logs.
Do you have any more in your house?
No, you'll have to break the spruce tree.
Huh. Whose wolf is by the trees?
Oh, mine, because I almost killed it.
I remember that.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Do you mind if I tell them what happened last time we played Minecraft? You're not gonna remember.
Sure.
So Ghost wanted emeralds for mending, and I was like, "Oh, there's a villager that trades sticks for emeralds, so cut down this big spruce tree." And she was like, "I don't want to do that. How long will it take to strip mine for emeralds?" And I'm like, "It will take you so much longer than cutting down the fucking tree."
That sounds about right.
And then, like, halfway up, I didn't realize, like, I didn't know that my dog was following me.
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon with a hat on.
The funniest
I
part, I was just looking for that dog, too. Because I didn't want a white puppy dog, I wanted a brown puppy dog.
Being a little racist here, I see.
Well, I just wanted a different, like, breed than I'm used to, you know?
Sure.
We grew up with the white dog. Although I did
Keep
notice
stealing
there's
your
a
fish.
cat that spawned in your house.
You stole my
Keep
cat?
Oh,
stealing your
yeah.
fish.
Which means cats will start spawning.
Cats spawn in his basement.
Which
They
means
do.
I can get a cat. So guess who's
Yeah.
fishing
Cat
for
spawn in the
salmon?
basement.
Did we never tell you?
No.
Cats spawn in
Cat's
Cookie's
spawn in my
basement.
basement.
Cat spawn in Cookie's basement.
Or here. Sometimes they spawn here.
Well, it's because
So I gotta
you guys
stock up
put
on my
it
salmon.
so fucking close to my house. I had like plans for over here, and then
Oh
you
my
guys built
God.
this.
We were going to put it here.
Why?
Here. And then my idea actually was to mine down
You
and
a
put it under
fish?
your basement.
I have more fish.
Why?
That's all I got.
Because it's
Thanks.
funny. We were like, "You think you would like it?" And Zippy
No, I
was
know
like,
you have other fish because
close
I
to him,
kept
so
picking them
he'd
up
be
and I
fine
dropped
with
them
it.
to you.
Oh.
No, I actually didn't want to be close to villagers at all, because all it goes. Remember walking by the human ghost's house when we were making it? We never finished it at all, but our previous villager spawner?
Oh yeah.
In our basement.
Not in the basement. The other one, the one you deleted.
There's no catch down here.
The one with the tavern.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have
I
the
like it
spruce
there.
wood?
Yeah. It could be yummy, yummy, tasty little snack. I'ma hit it. Did you kill this guy? You just moved him?
No, I moved him.
I got an Unbreaking 3 book.
Nice. That's the max.
Use that on my board.
You can.
How cool.
Just like scrambled eggs, bitch. That's a balanced breakfast. Wow. She
Scrambled
wanna
eggs
be
feel like a
down.
scam.
Why do we have one
What
part of
do?
the circle that isn't lit up?
What are you talking about?
We have one side of the circle that isn't lit up.
What circle?
Like,
Oh, over here
yeah.
on maps. Yeah, hold on, I'll fix that. Babe, I have to eat, baby. So I'ma eat your feet, babe. Feet in for dessert. I'ma eat your shirt, eat your fucking
What?
shirt.
What are you listening to?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Don't. I've learned not to question whatever the fuck
Jesse,
he's
there's
listening
You
to.
need to listen
you
to
don't need
Danny
more
Gonzalez.
torches over there.
We need more torches.
Yeah, but you were placing
I
them
need
in a
more
spot that
dark
was already lit
code.
up.
Well, I finished the circle. What do you want?
Dark. Oh,
I want your
I'll
heart.
take myself.
I might have more in my
Tamale
chest.
in my mouth. Spicy. Ouch. I just spit it
Here, I'll
out,
scoot over.
baby. I don't run from the police. Crazy horse, don't hurt me, please.
You
My
waited
knees
just a
don't-
fucking close turn.
Why did I get the fat fish?
I'm gonna piss off Cookie.
Please. I don't care anymore. You've won. I don't care anymore.
Me playing this stupid game. Hi.
Is this too laggy?
Oh, hold on. That was fucking up your chest. I'm on my way.
Thanks, man.
No
Appreciate it, dog.
problem. I'm on my way. Don't mention it.
Those are mine.
No, because the other stairs will cover it up. Because
Okay.
it'll be right here.
Hey, neighbor.
Here, I don't entirely know what you want to do, so here, take this,
Yeah, me
this,
neither.
this.
I may hold on. I'll cook. I'll cook quickly. The thing is, we
This
don't
make me
need
extremely
stairs.
sleepy.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm gonna do this, and then what if I that?
Yes.
Yes, good.
Yes.
Fuck. I still did it wrong. Bring it in. Oh wait. Dirt. Fuck.
Dirty dirt.
Bring it in. Woo.
Are you listening to something? I don't know what you're listening to.
Hmm? No.
That used to be on one of my playlists.
It's a good song.
It is.
Did you like this Cookie?
Hold on, I'm in Pinterest.
Hold on, I'm fixing my chest. Yeah, okay.
I like that.
Okay, cool.
We're under attack. And never mind,
You
dumbass
do
hit a
that.
wall.
I'll find a floor design.
I don't know if sleeping in our sleeping bags counts as like sleeping in a bed.
It does.
I don't think it does.
I know this from experience, but if we sleep, they will go away. I can't sleep in this area. I can't sleep in this area.
Why don't we just steal these beds?
Why can't I sleep? Okay.
To bed I go.
Go eat these, guys.
I'm currently in a body of water.
Sleep in the water.
I'm a fish.
Piss where you sleep and
I'm a
sleep where
fish.
you piss.
It's
I am
weird
just a fish.
that I still don't know how fish sleep.
They don't.
What?
They probably do.
I don't know. I'm not a fish.
I wouldn't
Fuck
know.
I want an axolotl.
Did all of yours die?
IRL.
Actually means IRL, yeah.
Oh. That makes more sense. You have to take care of it. You
Yeah,
know,
I feel like your cats would kill it.
If you keep the lid on.
you have to then keep the lid on.
What do you think I'm gonna do? Keep it off?
Yeah.
No, you maybe.
Oh, my bad.
Jesse,
I mean, I'd be okay, but yeah.
I'm gonna send you something. Tell me.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you.
I'd be okay with it, but I don't want to.
Hey, neighbor.
Hello.
I accidentally put a hook in your head.
Oh shit.
You get the fat one.
I've had a few.
What?
What?
All I heard is I've had a fat one. And I'm like, what?
No. The puffer fish.
Oh,
Try this. I like the first one, but I don't know if it's enough room.
My headphones just
It is enough
fucking
room, it's-
died.
Oh
8
no.
wide.
I
Try the
think.
first one. You may need to cut down a tree.
I got
don't know
boots.
if this-
Yeah, I would assume it's oak, right?
Yeah, actually, I do have 2 oak planks.
If you're
Beautiful.
complimenting my
Sorry,
boots, I know you are.
I meant to say
They're
22.
I have
My
2.
bad.
Thanks, that'll help so
You said
much.
22.
Hey, there's a cat in my basement. You're
Ghost
my
Rider's a
fucking
cat in the
chest.
basement. Where's your crafting table? Because you took the one in there.
I have one built into my backpack.
Mhm.
My fucking
Cocksucker.
chest. Did you do it to every? Okay.
No, you eventually pulled me over.
I can, fix it in one click, but
It's the thought that counts.
okay, you said you have oak.
Oh yeah, time.
Yeah, you want my 2?
Time for funny phone mic.
Why am I gonna phone?
His headset died.
Oh
Oh.
Someone listens to me.
no, I was talking about oak.
Yeah, I actually was. What's the?
Oh,
word?
so
Selective
sorry. I
hearing.
didn't know that. My headphones are fucking dead. I couldn't hear.
Yes, they look lifeless like me. I miss you on your side of the bed.
What was that?
Hmm?
I connected my earbuds to my phone, and someone was like singing or something. All I heard was like
Nuh-uh.
static, like.
There's a bean called.
I was harmonizing.
A bee?
Here's a bee.
Brick.
I don't like how well you do that.
There's a bee. I'm a voice actor.
Brick.
Wait.
Brick.
Like the
Wait, I'm trying to-
Doing it a little different,
Brick.
just because
I'm
it's.
trying to connect my
2 in the
earbuds.
middle?
That's a-okay.
I'm out.
Oh, well, I wish I could help you. I may have some in my chest. Hold on. Every time. Days I feel like.
Yo, thank you for the raid.
Hi, Kyo. Hi, Summer.
Kiona was also playing Minecraft.
I know, I was watching. Hi.
I
I'll
was
work
too.
on
Actually,
your
my
PNG
stream-
tomorrow.
I only have 1 oak sapling. Who the fuck stole all my oak saplings?
It was probably me.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, it was Ghost. 100%.
No.
Oh my
Like-
god, I have so much spruce.
You did this to every fucking chest, and it's like the most inconvenient thing.
You're welcome.
It's not a thank you.
Just like the day that I met you, the day I thought forever. Hi, Summer. Oh, is that a new raid message? Oh, yeah.
My sanity is gone.
Am I getting you more?
No, I want water.
Dost thou gremlin require more Sunny D?
No, I want water.
Where'd you go?
I went to the
First of
AFK
all, hi,
farm.
Cookie.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just
Oh,
left
yeah.
me. What the hell?
I gave you a cool fishing rod though.
Yep.
I don't want to keep fishing. This shit was boring as hell.
Want
Oh.
the filtered water or the sink water?
The sink water's fine. Okay.
Why does this fishing rod have one men?
What?
LU3 UNB3 men 1.
Are you okay?
What it says.
What do you mean?
It's for like lure. Oh,
Yeah. I'm guessing it's mending, but it just says men, and I find it funny.
I mean, not official raid message, but since no more dragging, can't use the old one. It's mending?
What I'm trying to yell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I already said that. I said I'm assuming it's mending, but
I was yelling for so long. It's bending. Hoping it would pick up.
Hopefully our neighbors
what a
don't get
lucky
mad.
fishing rod. I just got a fucking bowl. What am I gonna use? What am I gonna do with this? Soup.
Rick, what if you want soup?
Soup.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Do you like the fishing rod I gave you?
Me?
Yes. I
Oh,
can make soup now,
sorry, I thought it was
apparently.
special.
You can
Hi,
make
Summer.
shroom soup.
It's got
Hello,
one man.
sir.
Hello and welcome back. This is Markiplier.
Love the. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and today we're playing Minecraft. Sex mod. Sorry.
I
don't know
love
why I keep going to that.
Guys, I think Jesse really wants to play the Minecraft sex mod.
I actually
I have an
really
inkling.
don't.
I think you're gonna say I actually
really don't want to.
We should start making mod reviews.
Oh my.
That's what we wanted to do.
I do still want to.
We were gonna.
I
do the
still want
series
to,
of
too.
the dragon. I'd be down.
Rick,
We
why
just
are
need
you
to
in
upset?
Minecraft?
upset.
Because people told me there would be cats here, but I've gone here twice now. There's no cats.
Well, it despawned.
Yeah, if you watch on the mini-map, Brick, you'll see a cat head.
I don't look at my mini map.
You have to hold tab.
So I'm
though.
fishing for salmon. Then I can get one.
Salmon
For what? Oh, salmon. Thank God.
I'm hunted for semen.
What's
Brick.
luck of the sea?
What?
It
Luck of the
means you
sea
get
is
better
luck. Like you can get
What?
mending higher
I
chances.
have
Sorry.
luck of the sea 3, lure 3, and
Can you
mending.
yell?
That's good.
Yeah, I can
You,
yell.
I think luck of the sea goes
Can
to
you yell?
4
Oh, okay.
or
Not
5.
right now, my
Lure
dad's
goes
asleep,
to
and
3.
Oh,
He wouldn't
okay.
like it if I
3,
yelled.
Mending.
Okay,
I
okay.
was cheating during Bed Wars. I had my
What?
mini map still. I
Wait, you
I
can-
used it to see
you can
where
do that?
everyone was, and if the diamond spawned or not.
Oh yeah, because you can
Wait,
see drops.
I didn't know you could have a.
Crazy told
I
me I
know-
can't get banned because it's client side.
What does that mean? Well, never mind. I know what that means, but like,
I love how your chest says not a trap.
It's not though.
You know, I
I'm
mean,
in my house.
I'm stealing
the
your
clients.
saplings.
The clients used to have.
Somebody
a
stole all
thing-
mine.
It wasn't even me.
Yeah, but you guess who's got oak saplings?
You know what? I can't argue with that. What are you saying?
Some of the clients used to have a thing called free look, which is like pretty much a cheat, but they allowed it for a little bit of time for whatever reason.
Mm.
Bed wars.
Bed Wars. So yeah, no, I don't think you would get. Well, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but I knew where everyone was.
That sounds really. Why did I never do that? I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
No, you keep going.
We'll
Sorry.
find it.
Oh, I have a cool idea. Since we're going with like a really browny color, I'm thinking continue with the brown and do mud walls.
I'm gonna brown.
I saw that Ghosty was at the docks. I was like, I'll go fishing with Ghosty. I got to the docks and I saw Ghosty wasn't here. So I checked the stream and Ghosty was at her house. I started walking towards her house. And I looked back at Ghosty's stream. She was back on the docks.
I'm running around. I'm sorry. I had to go get this fishing rod back to its full health because it has mending on it.
You want this one back?
No, this one's better.
Okay.
I gave you the shittier one, but it's still really good.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Story of my life.
I give you this shittier
What's Asgore?
I give you this shittier, better
That's
one.
driving in my car right after a beer.
Hey, that bomb is shaped like a deer.
Oh yeah, because I have a redeem where you drew it.
Yeah. You have to sing it.
No.
No. Ghost.
You made a promise.
No.
I
Ghost.
Ghost, mud.
I need mud.
Mud.
I know what you like using the farm.
Har har.
Not har har. I need mud.
Dirty.
So shitting.
Oh shittings.
Oh, shittings.
I'm gonna brown.
Wait, guys,
My
I got a funny
friend-
one I can do.
I got another Unbreaking 3 mending.
I'm listening, Jesse. Don't worry.
Nice. My friend got that message to him, like texted to him, from a number that he doesn't know. This happened like 5 years
Wasn't
ago.
I remembered that? Like where it's like I have to shit or
He's it was I'm gonna brown and he says what? And he says I'm shitting. That's the whole video. And he got sent that randomly.
Oh, shitting.
you know what the
For
word
Asgore, I don't
means?
know what the word means. Asgore is the name of an Undertale character.
Yeah. So
And
his
he's in the
meme got
meme
named as it.
That it's the driving in my car right after a beer. That's him. That's Asgore.
Asgore almost sounds like ass-sore.
Okay.
Dirty.
Wishes.
It's enough out of
Did
you,
you
mister.
Jar Jar do? Dirty one.
I have a request, and that's to make this oak too. I broke it. You'll see it. You'll see it.
Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that bomb is shaped like a deer. DUI.
Hey, my beliefs about it. They have one durability.
Little do you know, I filled up on gas.
I really thought it really said that. I thought Ghosty's about to turn and just punch me. Oh, I got a thing. What can I do? What does this do? What does that do?
What does what do?
Bobblehead.
Not to the show.
Oh.
No,
And, I drew the Sino I love Oshi bobblehead. I
Yeah.
understand. I didn't know that you redeemed it. I was so confused.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I drew that and I was like, this is ass. Ghost is gonna hate this, but I sent it to her anyway.
And I loved it.
It's the first time I've ever used a mud farm.
You've made, like, how many?
One.
Hmm. 2.
Yeah, one in this world and then the other one.
Yeah. So you're lying to me.
Okay,
Seems
well I
like-
never used it.
Oh. I guess so.
I literally built it for Ghost and then just never used it.
If for whatever reason, I put my earbuds on for my PC because my headphones aren't working. It's not letting me listen to Spotify at the same time, and I'm like sort of losing my mind. My brain is so numb. Cookie, can you sing to me?
So green.
Can I
Wait, I
what?
have so much mud.
Like, I don't think I even have like Minecraft audio right now. I think it's only
Cookie, I
playing
have
in
43
Discord.
mud
Ow,
bricks.
why'd you punch me?
You
Bricks,
have
it's me.
43 med.
Mud bricks.
Yeah?
I will have 2 stacks and 4, so you know.
Oh, okay. Well, I had it in my chest.
Wow, that would have been great to know.
Hold on, I need to
20
skip this
minutes
song.
ago.
It's not really appropriate. Thank you, Tyler the Creator. Okay, now we get Danny Gonzalez. Let's go.
Aw, the anvil broke.
Oh, that's what I was gonna do.
How do you make an anvil
Never
again?
saw you. Iron
3
blocks.
iron
You've been
blocks
playing
and
Minecraft for
4
how many
pieces
years?
of iron, 4 iron ingots and 3 blocks of iron.
What?
Brick, what's the AI overview of it?
I got you. Hold on. Oops.
Got you.
How to
I stand.
to make an anvil in Minecraft, you need 31 iron ingots. Smelt
Found it.
31 raw iron in a furnace to get your ingots. Craft 3 iron blocks using 9 ingots each and arrange the 3 blocks across the top row. 1 ingot in the center and 3 ingots along the bottom row.
Did it help you at all?
I got it a while ago. I just flipped it.
You're so welcome. I'm happy I can help.
Almost the second he
Bye,
started
Summer.
talking, I had figured it out.
Go be responsible. Sorry.
Well, yeah, because I said it too before I even looked it up.
Don't be responsible, Summer. Have fun.
Okay.
Stop yawning. You're making me yawn, even though I probably
Don't
got
listen to
you
Cookie,
yawn.
he's unemployed.
I love Cookie. Sorry, I just thought that was appropriate to say.
By the way,
Is there a cat in your basement yet?
Oh.
No.
No.
Why not?
Almost died.
I want a cat. Ow, that's not a cat. It's a fucking spider. I don't want that. You can keep
Do we
that.
like the mud?
Can I
No.
hear you? You want to hear me out?
No.
Sure.
What if these were the spruce and then this was the mud?
That's too much spruce, though.
No
There's
such
no-
thing.
I can't hear the bell, but I can ding it. Can you guys recreate the bell noise? I don't want this.
Bing, 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 bing.
Okay, thank you.
What kind of bells do you listen to, Jesse?
He has to be annoying and spamming it like he is. It makes sense in my head.
Well, I mean, you could have. You
Pretty
did
sure
something
going-
else. I wouldn't have known. I can't hear it.
This is really lit, sis. That's the tea.
Where are we going?
Yeah, we can keep it mud.
Going.
Do you want to do something different for this wall, though? Oh, wait, what if this was
Yeah.
dark oak? Not dark oak. What am I fucking talking? What? Deep slate.
Okay. Like bricks or tiles? 'Cause I think
Yeah, it's my
bricks-
name.
What if we did both? And
Gradient
what
edit?
if? Yeah, and what if I took it from your basement?
It's in a barrel.
Yes, good, good. He came willingly.
Yo, the zombie spacing is
I do
terrible.
every
This guy's
time I
getting his
know.
ass beat.
Don't shed tears.
I'm glad no one was listening when I was talking.
Yep, I heard it. Don't worry.
Okay.
I
figured you did.
I do too, but since we all heard, you could say it anyways. Yeah, you could repeat it. I mean, we all heard it, so I mean,
He said he always
Fine,
comes
dude.
willingly.
oh, okay.
You're welcome.
Dirty, dirty, dirt. What Jiggy Jojo do? Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Thanks so
I'm
far.
so tired.
Brick,
What's happening
brick, a
again?
cat, brick, cat, cat,
What?
brick.
Where?
Jiggy, jiggy, jar, jar, do.
Cat.
Dur-dur-dur-dur.
Is it in the basement?
I'm figuring out. Brick cat! Brick cat up there! Orange cat, like you.
Like
Like
you?
me.
Like on your shoulder.
Come here,
Oh.
Kitty.
I forgot about it.
Don't worry, kitchen, I am here.
I have fish. I have fish.
The cat will run away faster than my dad got milk.
Yay!
Yay!
My
Good
dad got milk.
job.
Yay!
He looks like a Cheeto.
That's what you should name him. Here.
So far. Is this?
That's what I always. That's what I
I
always
know,
name my
and,
dogs.
too
Whenever,
small
whenever I
for
got a
me,
dog in Minecraft, I always name it Cheeto, but
Name it
the cat
Cheeto.
can be Cheeto this time. How the fuck do I need an anvil, right?
Yeah, there's an anvil in the
Yeah, you need a
enchantment.
name tag.
I think. Do all tiles, maybe?
Yeah. I was looking at it, I'm like, this is kind of too small to gradient right now.
Ah. Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Thank you for catch.
Yeah, that's better, huh?
Yeah.
Anvil.
I'm just gonna replace all the stone with it.
Okay.
Cheeto.
Like this. Yeah, how's that?
I like it.
Yippee!
Cool.
Yippee!
Here, I have them dancer buffs.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
Dirty, dirty.
Now protect him with your life.
Or
Yes.
die trying.
Come here, Cheeto. You're gonna protect the basement.
Holy
Hello, Cheeto.
things.
Oh shit, Danny. Oh shit,
I'm
Danny.
gonna brown.
It's 11 o'clock.
What?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty much 1 for me. I'm tired as fuck.
It's past night time, guys.
Night chat.
Are you guys getting off?
I'll get a horse
Shadow
another
Christ.
day.
Wait, what's happening? Did I just black out? Are we leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, actually? Okay.
But it's sun. What do you mean?
Shit, guys, I have to go to bed. Ghost is making
You're
me-
gonna be exhausted and you're gonna hate it, Jesse.
Bro, I'm going to be so exhausted.
Okay, well, Cheeto isn't teleporting into my house, so he can sit with your puppy, because that's
like
just kind of
this.
what he was.
Yeah, I do too.
Dirty, dirty, dirt.
I
Wait,
think...
You guys are
Mm,
almost
yeah.
oxidized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put these in here, though. Because there will be lights in there.
I'm just gonna dirty, dirty, dirt.
Something could be fun here, but I don't know what.
I was thinking that.
Oh, oh shit, things.
And then Cheeto's always on your shoulder. when you're out.
Yeah, Cheeto.
That's so fun.
I was thinking maybe we'll think of it later, but...
It matches perfectly.
Alright.
Alright, chat. Well, I guess I'll end too.
That happened so sudden. I didn't know it was this late, dog.
Alright,
Dirty, dirty,
chat.
dirt.
Dirty, dirty,
Bye-bye.
dirt.
Bye, chat.
Goodbye to chat.
Bye to chat.
to
I
chat.
don't know how to end
My
this.
bedtime was like 5 hours ago.
You should go 9 nights.
Oh,
then.
Brick, I was gonna ask you want to play Pokemon.
Oh,
God,
dude,
I
I'm
haven't
so
ended
fucking
stream
tired.
yet.
And if I probably already fucked myself up for tomorrow, but I'm probably not going to be able to fall asleep at the time I need to fall asleep for
Why
work.
do I AFK?
Oh, do you work tomorrow?
No, but I have to be in bed by 8 p.m. tomorrow. But if I wake up at like noon, then I'm probably not going to be able to fall asleep at 8 p.m. So I think I'm fucked, but that's okay.
This is looking nice, actually, huh? I didn't actually look at it from this angle.
I do like the cave, though.